Hey everybody, welcome to Fit Tip Tuesday. Today is part 4 of pants fitting troubleshooting. Today I'm going to show you how to sew together the single leg fitting muslin that we prepped last week, and I'm also going to give you some tips for fitting your waistband onto you, as well as a little demonstration on how the Velcro that we're going to be sewing into the inside of this muslin works with the Velcro that is on your non-stretch fitting waistband if you made one with Velcro. So if you've been following along with me, or if you haven't been following along with me, I will put a link to the tutorial showing how to make the waistband in the description below, so you have that information. Let me get my sewing machine and we will get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew my darts. Okay, so you can see I've got my darts here, and I'm going to fold them in half, and I'm just going to stick a couple pins in here. And if I pin through one side and that pin also hits the dart leg on the other side, then that means when I sew, it's going to sew through the dart accurately. And I'm just going to pin one at a time here because these are tiny. But basically, let me just show you how I would sew a dart. Now, for the muslin, we are going to baste. Okay, because one of the things about fitting is the darts might not need to be in the exact location they're printed on the pattern for your body. You may need to lengthen or shorten them. You may need to get rid of one. You may need to move them. So you're going to set your stitch length on, I would say, 4.5 or 5, and you're just going to stitch down the dart. Like this. Now when you get to the bottom, don't tie it off, don't do anything funny, just sew off the edge and call it a day, because we want these really easy to take out if we need to move them. So we did one dart, and then I'm going to pin and sew my second dart. Again, I'm checking the position of my pin on the back side. If it matches, it'll match. My stitching will match. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we've sewn our darts, or basted them. And I'm just going to trim all this extra away. Okay, so there's our darts. The next step is we're going to put our fabric right sides together, and we're going to sew our inseam. Now I like to have my darts on the right side of my fabric because I can easily take them out and move them if I need to, instead of having them be inside my pants. So I'm going to put them right sides together, and I'm happy I used Sharpie marker because I wrote it on the wrong side, but I can still see it. So my next step is I am going to sew from the crotch down to the hem, and again I'm just going to stick in a couple pins, and I'm going to stitch right on the line, or the stitching line that I drew or marked. So let's go ahead and stitch this. If you think it's likely that you're going to need to let this out, again, you can baste it. So I still have my stitching at 4.9 is what I'm using here. But I'm just stitching along my stitching line that I marked. And I'm not back tacking or tying off because, like I said, I might need to let that out. All right, so the next step is I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to finger press my seam allowances open, and I'm going to stay stitch the crotch. The reason why I'm stay stitching the crotch is It will help keep the shape of the crotch curve a little bit intact while you're tugging and fitting, similarly to how it would be if it were actually sewn to another leg. But also, we want a 1/2 inch allowance so we know where to put our Velcro. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch a 1/2 inch. I'm just going to pretend it's a 1/2 inch. Now this you can do a regular stitch length, so I'm going to put my stitch length back at 3. And I'm just going to stitch right around using a 1/2 inch allowance. So just pretend this is a 1/2 inch because it's a mini size. So I'm going to stitch right through my inseams pressed open. Okay. So now our muslin looks like this. We've got our basted darts, we have our inseam sewn together on our stitching line. The next step is we're going to put our Velcro in. If you're making a waistband with Velcro, and I highly recommend this, by the way, because I've taught this class, and in some of the classes that I taught, 1 or 2 students didn't have Velcro in one of my Zoom classes, and someone in one of my in-person classes did not have their waistband finished, and they really had a harder time managing the fabric around their waist while they were wearing it, trying to fit it without having these sticky pin helpers along the waistline to help. Now, less is more in the Velcro. You don't want to plaster the inside of your muslin with Velcro because you just want enough for you to be able to just hold it in place while you're working on other areas of your waistline. But you don't want so much Velcro that it's hard for you to pick it up and put it back down onto the Velcro that's on the waistband. And you'll see what I mean when I finish showing you how to sew the muslin together. I'll show you my waistband and I'll show you how this works together. All right. Okay, so the Velcro that you have on your waistband is the itchy side. We're going to use the soft side of the Velcro because that's going to be on the inside or wrong side of your muslin. And again, after I finish sewing this, I'll show you how this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my first strip of muslin in the seam allowance along the center back. And what I want you to notice here is I am positioning it so that it's both above and below the original waistline edge. So see how it's in the extra allowance above the waistline, but it also goes below the waistline? That's because we don't know where your rise is going to end up being. And we don't want to have to buy new Velcro every time we make a new muslin. So I'm just literally going to base this on using a big stitch. So I'm going to go back to my 5 for stitch length. I'm literally just going to base this on one row of stitching because I want to be able to easily take that off and save it and use it for my next muslin. So one is going to go in the seam allowance of the center back. The second one is going to go between the 2 darts. And again, I'm just stitching a single line like that. Okay, and then in the front, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put one of them right in the seam allowance at center front. And so having that stay stitching gives you that 1/2 inch guide too, so you know where to put the Velcro at center front and center back. That's another reason for the stay stitching. Okay, got one there. And then the final piece of Velcro is going to go in the middle of the front leg like this. Okay. So now you can see we've got Velcro in all the places. The last step is we are going to put this right sides face out now, and I'm going to stitch up my side seam. Now, why do I want the seam allowance on the side seam on the right side or facing out? I want it facing out because I want it easily accessible if I'm going to need to let it out or take it in. And plus, it's a wider seam allowance, so I don't want it smashed up against me inside my muslin. So I'm going to start at the hem in this case. and I'm going to just baste this. And when I get to crotch level, which is right here, I'm going to stop. So here's my crotch. I'm stopping about crotch level because you want to leave the top of the side seam open to make it easy to fit the front and back side seam. But if you have mobility issues and it's hard for you to reach around to keep these pinned shut while it's on your body, another option is you can stop sewing on your stitching line, which is what I did right here, and you can switch to stitching a 1/2 inch from the edge all the way up to the top. Now doing that, you're adding all of that fabric in the extra seam allowance, the extra allowance on the side seam into your muslin, and you can pin it out separately front and back and then transfer that to your pattern, but at least it'll stay closed and it won't be flopping around. So that's up to you. You can leave it open like this, and then if you have clips, you can clip them, you can clip them shut while it's on your body, or you can baste it shut up near the raw edge. Those are your two choices. Okay, and I'm going to leave mine open for now because I can reach around. But just know, if you want to continue the seam all the way up, just sew a 1/2 inch from the raw edges, and then you can fit those, take out what you need to front and back individually. Okay, so that would be how to sew your muslin. All right, so that's how you sew together your single leg muslin, and this is the right side, and if we look inside, there's our Velcro, and I just want to show you how the Velcro works with the waistband, and I just want to talk about the waistband for a quick hot minute here. I'm going to switch to a life-size or real-size version of a muslin and a waistband now. You can see this is a waistband that I have that fits me, and I'm just going to take the pins out because I've already marked my fitting for this pair that I'm working on. But what I want to show you here is, before I get to how to use the Velcro, what I want to do is just show you. I'm going to stand up, and when you fit your waistband, and I'm going to put the link to the waistband tutorial in the description below so you have it. But basically, the waistband goes on your body like this. Okay, now notice you don't want to have a fit that looks like this, right? See how this is really loose? This is not what you want. What you want is a waistband that's fitting you firmly so it creates a stable anchor to drape your single leg muslin onto. Okay, so this is the fit you're looking for when you fit your waistband, and that's the first step in the fitting process to fit this onto you where you want to wear your pants. Now if I turn to the side, I just want to show you, some people have a tilted waist, meaning their waist may be lower in the front, higher in the back. It could be higher in the front, lower in the back. However you wear your pants, or where you want to wear your pants, is where you put this waistband. If you want to make a low rise, put it down here. If you want to make a higher rise pair of pants, put it up here. So this is the cool thing about this method. You're going to fit the waistband onto you first where you want to wear your pants. And it needs to be firmly on you. And let me just show you what not to do again. Not like this. If you've got a waistband that's doing this, this is not going to help you fit your pants. It needs to be firmly on you. Okay? Whoops. But, firmly on you the right way, like that. Okay, that's how you fit the waistband. Last thing I want to show you is, I just want to explain to you how these Velcro pieces really help. Now imagine you have the waistband on your body and you're trying to look in the mirror and you're trying to adjust and do the fitting. Here's the cool thing. While the waistband is on your body, I'm going to close this like it's on me. Okay, so I'm just going to close it like this. So let's pretend my waist is in there, right? So basically what you're going to do is when you start to put the muslin on, in the center back, you're going to take the Velcro that you put on the seam allowance in the center back, and you're going to just tack that to the vertical Velcro at the center back of the waistband. So this is the center back of the waistband. I'm going to put it on this side because I'm working on this side with my muslin. So if I put my Velcro here, the stitching line will be at my center back, like that. Then I can just tack on the Velcro there. And then as I wrap around to the front of me, you can see I also have Velcro in the front that helps hold the fabric onto my body while I'm trying to fit. That's how you use the single leg muslin with the Velcro on the waistband. Notice I'm just laying the fabric against the right side of the waistband, which is on the outside of your body. It makes it so much easier than trying to pin it in place, or I've seen people try to tuck it up underneath their waistband. All of these other ways are, you know, ways to do it, and I don't want to say they're wrong. I'm just saying that having the Velcro here, having the soft Velcro here, and then being able to just tack it on and adjust it as you work makes life so much easier for you. So that is my little tips for fitting the waistband, you know, how the waistband works with the Velcro inside the muslin. And I'm really hoping all of these little tips and process that I just ran through in this series are going to help you successfully fit your pants. And if you're taking a class with me and you're watching this, this is here to reinforce what we did in class. If you're not taking a class with me, you know, these things will also be helpful for you. I'm really on a mission to make pants fitting accessible to everybody. If you'd like to take a pants fitting class with me, the easiest thing to do is to sign up for my newsletter, and there's a link below to sign up for that newsletter, and you'll be alerted to what I'm teaching next month in each monthly newsletter, as well as other fun stuff. So that's how you can keep in touch with what I'm doing. If you have any questions or comments about sewing your one-leg muslin, or how the Velcro works inside the muslin with your waistband, please let me know. I will help you. This Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'll be live for FabFit Friday. I got a little excited about my bias cut Sorsha Classic Slim shorts, so those are finished. So it will be a surprise topic this week, so I'm sure you're not going to want to miss that. So I hope to see everybody on Friday. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.